The recap of Friday, June 8th, 2012 at Belmont Park, Part 2. We were up to the fifth race, and if I sound a little bit impatient, I hope you'll bear with me. I am a little bit impatient, but hopefully you'll overlook that, and I'm not in particularly frazzled or impatient by anything in particular, except that I've been trying to get this one point across for several years, and I'm still trying to find a way to make this point so that it hits the target and sticks, because I feel that this is the key to the mint. This is the answer to horse racing, and this is why I try to get this across. But this is the biggest secret of Ability X ratings, and I don't understand how it remains such a secret, except that most handicappers are so ensconced in the perspective that they have, which is not, to me, I mean, it's just my opinion, it's not a very good perspective for winning at horse racing. That's my opinion of it. But it seems to me that the handicappers are so ensconced in that, so wrapped up in it, and everything, that it just, it makes the obvious just so difficult for them to see. And it's like, I don't know what it's like. It just, sometimes it just drives me crazy. But being able to single the number 5 in this fifth race, and of course number 5 is the key horse also. So again, here's that mechanical pick. That hey, it's the lowest rating on the bottom half of the chart, so it's a pick. It's a key horse, and that's a good thing. But see, this is what happens is sometimes that mechanical pick just coincides with the best bet in the race for other reasons. See, and it's good to know those other things too, to have them in the back of your mind, and that's what helps you to recognize this key horse as, hey, that's a good key horse, that's a good number. It sticks out at you, it hits you in the face. It's like, bang, look at that. Look at this number 5. Now, the thing that was in the email was the only reason you can see to go with number 5 is because it's the 5th horse on the list in the 5th race, and that's true, and that's not a bad reason either, because it's like it's almost like a 7th race deal. But anyway, I'm just joking around. But the thing of it is, this key horse, first you notice key horse, then you notice the rating, the early speed, the morning line. You're like, boom, hey, wait a minute, whoa, 7 furlongs on a turf. I mean, I'm hoping you're noticing this at the same time also. 7 furlongs on the turf at Belmont Park. Now, we've only seen a few of these so far in a couple of days, but let me minimize this, or anyway, and let me jack up yesterday at Belmont Park. See, I think I did go, second half of the card, this nice pick 4, $20,000, and I believe I pointed out on this card the 8th race in particular, 7 furlongs on the turf, an $80 winner, part of a 3-horse group. Number 11 is 165.94. Number 9 is 160.93, 50 to 1. I went on a rant about how this horse should not be 50 to 1. The fact that it is 51 tells you the horse is planted in this race. There was another 160 to make a 3-horse group, 2 3-horse groups, 6 contenders in this race altogether. Primary, yellow, secondary is mauve. But this 160 at this time, we're at least understanding that 160 is a good rating for this distance, this surface. I've raised the pars to 200. I probably forgot to do that on today's card, but really, the par should be actually more closer to 200 than 175, I believe. But then again, we've only seen a couple days, and this 160 keeps popping up. Especially this one. I mean, this should just burn this one right in your head, 160, 93, a little faster than par. 50 to 1 doesn't belong. 50 to 1 is what makes it all suspicious. 50 to 1 on this particular rating in this horse in this race right here is the reason you put it in the pick 3. I don't care if you had to put 10 horses in this race in this pick 3, put this one in, or you're going to lose the whole deal. The pick 4 for 20 grand, the pick 3 for 4,000. I mean, all of it's down the toilet. As soon as you throw this horse out because it's 50 to 1. And a handicapper is trained to do that. 50 to 1, throw it out. Throw out those 50 to 1s. Let's give me that racing form. Let me throw out the 50 to 1s right off the bat. But see, we've got to risen into the 8th race at Belmont to notice that rating. I believe, okay, it wasn't this one. 7 furlongs. Okay, that's the 200 par. Our pair is 200 for that 7 furlongs. I believe the day before, on the 6th, is the only other day we have. Let me try this one. That's Belmont Stakes Day last year. Let me see. I'm probably going to get lost in my files here. Belmont 6-6. Okay, let's take a look here. See what we got for 7 furlongs. 7 furlongs on the turf. Number paid 5 to 2. Number 9's rating was 194. So that's close to the 200 par. But I guess what it is that sticks in my head is a mile on the dirt at several major tracks, 160s are a pretty good low number. I mean, for a lower than par number that's a good number at a mile is 160, 165, and like that. So, I even though I set the par at 200, which is a little higher than the dirt 7 furlong, I know, and the dirt 7 furlong is 150 at Belmont or any other major track. So that also makes that 160 stick out. But it's also the dirt at the dirt miles at several other tracks. But this 50 to 1 that pays $80 just yesterday, and well, that one was 165. What do I got here? Oh, that's Churchill Downs. Okay. I'm looking for Belmont. Let's see. Could it be? I don't want to get on that X. Yeah, that's Woodbine. Let's see. Belmont. Belmont, where are you? 6-6. How about this one? 6/8/2012. Okay. There we go. Back in business. Yeah, let me set that on pretty for you. But that, just makes this one stick out. I mean, just yesterday we had this 50 to 1 pays $80, that's the rating right there. Boom. Now, again, this adds to that. This one, same rating, a 92 early speed. The other one was 93 yesterday. That one was 50 to 1. This one's 5. So, there's a lot of information available if you just follow the track. Follow the track, take note of what does win, what loses. Distance is very important. The number Ability X ratings is the run of the horse. Compare the runs. Get used to what wins. You wanna start building exacta, trifecta, superfecta tickets. Well, there's a few other consistencies you need to notice and know about before you start jumping on that superfecta. But in the pick three, we just have to have the win perspective to deal with. And yes, there's several, a lot of contenders in there for the win, because racing's goal for the last 100 and some years has been 10 horses in a race, 10 contenders. That's what they'd like to have. The more contenders in the race, the harder it is for you to pick a winner. The more difficult it is. The bigger and better mix they get. An example of that is a sixth race. Yes, 5 contenders. These are all contenders. These aren't several different pairs. They're one group. All these horses are within 5 points of each other. That's a pair. Qualifies as a pair. Our winner, number 3, pays Doodly Squat, is cut 50% of its morning line in the betting. Big signal, so always like to point that out. But it's the lowest of the group in 78, right on par early speed. Instead of guessing at what the pace will be, just take a look for, have I got 3 or 4 of something early speed from last. I got 384 is here. They'll probably dictate the early speed today. We got 384s and an 86 and an 82. Okay, that chunk of horses right there will probably dictate today's pace. But anyway, we got this group now. Bet number 3, the lowest rating of the bunch, and the morning line favorite. Go ahead and bet that 100 times, and you'll win about 35 of them. You'll lose about 65 of them, because those 65, one of these other guys will win. Which one? I don't know. Nobody knows. Who knows? How can you tell? Which I know that sounds funny, and that's why I like to say it. But it'll be this one, a percentage of the time. It'll be one of these guys about 10% of the time. They'll probably win about 20 of them. So the real overlay here is number 4, who should be probably like 6 or 8 to 1, but he's 12 to 1, so that makes it an overlay. Number 4 comes in second, but you should be able to recognize that number 4 is the true overlay in this race too. Doesn't mean he'll win, but he could win. Could win. I mean, any of these guys could win, except maybe we could chuck, if we really want to chuck somebody, we could chuck number 9 because it's on the grass, and 93 early speed, probably a little too quick for the grass. Number 9 would probably work a little too hard getting up to speed and not have much left for the stretch. But then again, that's not carved in stone either. But we might be able to throw him out for this surface today. But if we're on the dirt, we don't want to throw him out. He's one of the 5 contenders. And the theory is, we ran this race 100 times, a different one would win. These 2 guys up here would win 20 of them. The favorite would win 35 or so. The third choice, between these 2 might win. The rest of them, what do we got? About 45%? That's about right. And the overlay odds that would suggest this horse is only going to win 10% of the time, actually an overlay. This horse will probably win about 18% of the time. But in the win perspective, yes, we have that many contenders for the win. We might be able to toss one, but why should we? Because we're able to single here in the 5th. So even if we take our 4-horse group in the 4th, 4 times 1, that's 4 times 5 is 20 times 2 is $40 for that pick 3. It pays $2.15. Not bad. A lot of bettors run over their own grandmother to get the window to cash a $2.80 ticket. So, you got to keep that in mind. The pick 3, the thing about the pick 3 and pick 4 is you never know. All you need is one race in there. One horse, like yesterday, the $80 horse, You just need one of those to make a nice pick 3 at 902. Now that'll make up for a couple pick 3s where you might be a little on the short side. So it all comes out in the wash, but you play the whole card. When you're playing a pick 3, you play the whole card. It's hard to pick out one pick 3 that you can win and will pay good. That's difficult to do, and it's dangerous to do. It's the same as I'm going to try to decide which 2 races to bet and win both of them. That's kind of touchy. You got to be pretty good to do that. The design here and the idea is be a little loose, be a little inclusive, and if you're not a total stone cold expert on horse racing, then go ahead and put them in there. Put them in there, because as you do that, you'll become an expert in horse racing. See, that's the idea, is becoming, getting better. You don't want to lose money as you're getting better. You don't want this education to cost a whole lot of money, and there's no reason for it to cost a tremendous amount of money. You want to be able to learn as you go, but you don't want to be losing all the time, and that's a tough way to learn anything too. So with Ability X ratings, you have the potential to learn what's actually going on, not what it's supposed to be. You listen to Andrew Beyer and you know everything about how horse racing is supposed to be. Well, it's not like that. I don't care how close Gulfstream Park is to the ocean. The track does not change by the hour at Gulfstream Park. It's just some people think it does. So so they tuck that into their betting. Okay, well, that's what makes the pick 3s and pick 4s nice at Gulfstream Park. And that's what keeps the $80 and $60 winners coming down there. So hey, this is good. Great. But look at what's actually going on. What do you have? Who did win this distance in this class? Track it. Keep track of it. But the biggest secret of Ability X ratings is this run here and the 200 run at this distance and surface. Those are the 2 runs primarily of this distance of race and surface. The 2 runs. Each of them has 2 runs. One low, one higher, or closer to par or whatever, and one low. 160, and the par is 200 now. Okay, those are your two types of run. One is good and full all the way, and the 160 can be a little lower early speed, a little higher early speed, but the 160 is cruising in, not with a lot of power, but he's usually the horse is put himself in a great position with a good start and good run to at least the quarter pole, and can just cruise in, or just cruise through the stretch and maybe get a nose out in front of a horse that's tiring, something like that. But those are the 2 types of run that win races at every distance, every track, over and over all the time. So the whole thing is, with Ability X ratings, you can get a handle on those 2 runs. For a mile and 16th on the grass, this is one of them. 70s and 80s and even 60s. That's one. The other one is 100, 110s, 13s, teens, and 20s. That's the other run. One's like this and one's like that. So how they mix together and who's got the advantage, it just depends on what's in the race. Here we've got six contenders at 7 furlongs on the turf, and there's no 160s in here, but there's close to it. 173, 170, 176 throughout the whole range of early speed, and then we got a match pair of 181s, and number 7 is some nice early speed, but 30 to 1. Number 1 is a little less early lead, but close. But kind of horse. Turns out this win, pay $18. But this is the kind of horse that, hey, all it needs to do, and this could have been determined from the last race, and exactly what the trainer took from the last race is, hey, all we got to do is kick it up a notch on the front end, and we should be able to take this distance. So that's the thing. But you can't you can't see what the trainer's thinking unless you kind of get in tune with it, and you can get in tune with it from Ability X ratings and realizing that, hey, all this horse has to do to win today. Can this horse win? Yes, this horse can win. All you really need to do probably is just kick it up a notch at the start. Just a good alert start, and yeah, horse could take it. This run, this kind of run, this 181.88 can take it. This run could take it. This run could take it. Maybe if we don't want to put all 6 of these in, we could zero in on these 3 that are right around the par early speed. We could try that if we want to. But, if we're still trying to learn as much as we can, the best way to do it to make sure we don't lose our money is to be inclusive. Be inclusive. Use the weapon that the racetracks use. Money. That's what everybody over in the clubhouse uses, and the owners of the racetrack, that's what they use to win the game or to beat you. They use money. You don't have the money to put $300 into a pick 3. Too bad. They do. And they do it all day long. And that's all they do. And it's like, that makes it easy. It's easy for me. I can put $500 in this pick 3 if I want to. And if it only pays $400, I don't care. Because I'll put $500 the next one, and that one will pay $11. So that's how that weapon works. And you want to be able to use as much of it as you can also, because it's a good weapon. And it's a good weapon if you know how to use it too. I mean, if you're able to use it, know how to use it, then that's a pretty good combination. In the 8th race, we got a single here, 301.95. I mean, this number keeps coming up, boom, in these 6 furlong races, turf or dirt, whichever. That's a near perfect execution of 6 furlongs. It's 100 for the first 2, and 100 for the next 2, and 100 for the final 2. So that's what that 300 number is. These 354s that you got, 356, 334, 329. Okay, that's good energy in a stretch. Got some run in a stretch, and that's good. Very low speed early, so they'll probably need that. And the thing is with these 4 is you don't really have anybody that's got some early speed as far as you can see. Now maybe they won't need it, but then maybe they will with number 2 here, who's going to at least, we figure, hey, 95, that's pretty much middle of the road. But, gets a good alert start, he's going to step this thing out almost perfectly. So these guys have got to get busy, a lot busier than this on the back end. They got to get a little busy here on the front end to have a shot, So it's like, here's another one I can single. Or if I want to play it safe too, hey, put those other guys in. Put in the primary pair and the single. It's a $249 pick 3. You're pretty much covered. I mean, the public in general will make the mistakes. You go ahead, let them make mistakes. They'll do it. It's like money in the bank. It'll come along. If you bet a pick 3 and put a little too much into it, and it doesn't pay much, and you don't at least break even, it's like, so what? The idea is to hit some of these pick 4s here, and to stack up a little of that. So, it'd be kind of hard to clean you out. You got a few of those stacked up. And here we go, 7 furlongs in the night, 7 furlongs on the turf. Again, we got a 160 here. Well, put it in. We don't have any pairs in this race, so that means, what do we have that we know is a good number for this distance? Well, 160, we know that's a good number. We got one of those. And then 151, that's close to, I mean, that's close. I mean, that's the 7 furlong par in the dirt. So let's put him in too, I like the early speed on these guys a little bit. Ratings are really low, so, I think these guys have a little better shot and than it is on the grass, so, and at Belmont. So a little lower early speed might be preferable there. And then we got, hey, our first time starter over 200. Got to throw him in again. I know it's 50-50 and we already won one, but, let's throw him in. And we got 3 there. And then we got a couple more that we could single here if we wanted to. Is the long race, a mile and a half. Hey, give me the fast, low rating, and then give me the slow power runner on the bottom of the chart. And see if they both come together at the wire. Now they don't, but number 10 does win it, and number 6, which is half of your primary pair, is second. So, you know, for exactas, hey, give me, and let me decide which one of these I want, and give me that primary pair for the exacta, maybe, you know, or trifectas. For superfectas, you'll see that you need to make sure this guy is in your superfecta, the power runner. And there might be 2 or 3 power runners, but these are the ones that come in third and fourth frequently, and they're also the ones that come in second with these kind of payoffs on them too, $21. I mean, number 6 is right at par, but it's a mile and a half race too. So, you know, that is pretty good. But there's also the Brooklyn Handicap, so it might, this race might give us a little insight for the Belmont Stakes tomorrow. See, again, the winners today reveal the winners tomorrow, and that's what you got with Ability X ratings. You know, the run that wins today will win tomorrow, the day after that, and the run that wins today has won this distance at this track before, over and over and over again. Basically, there's 2 different runs for each distance. Become an expert on what they are in general, and you can do yourself a lot of winner picking. And then, you know, track them, change that par according to class. Figure out what the pars are for every class that you're tracking. You know, you want to be a wizard. There you go. You know, Laurel, at Laurel, 7 furlongs, the number is like 165 to 169 for the class of horses they have there. So it's like, hey, that's the number for Laurel for 7 furlongs. Okay, well, we'll just bet that every time it shows up, and you know, probably be ahead because the odds will take care of us in the long run. And I don't usually post what the pick 6 was, but this one was fit $5,000, and I don't think what you would have had to put in this pick 6 would be out of line to cover it either, since you can single it here even with 1 times 5, and let's take let's take the 3 in the middle, you know, or even all 6. Single this one if we want, or take the 3 or 4. We got 3 here, and we basically have 3 here, primary pair, and number 10. That is an excellent rating. And our third simple pick for the day. But this is another thing. A class race, this is the Brooklyn Handicap. You can take these low numbers in these kind of races as good. You know, in other kinds of classes, maybe that 22 is looking pretty shaky, but in the Brooklyn Handicap, it's like, hey, that's one of those Kentucky Derby type numbers, Preakness sort of thing at this kind of distance. 22 isn't too bad; it's pretty good. I'll have another came into the Preakness with a 9, so you know, that's how low numbers can get, but the better the horse is at executing that kind of distance, and the closer it gets to 0 would be perfect. So that's where that lower number and this class, you know, start to come together, and you start to understand what all that means. But that's all there is just to let the results from the day speak to you. I mean, what were the results? Who did win? And then you know, there's reasons for it, and usually the reasons are that it was actually the closest to par, or that is a good number for the distance and class at your track. The number is the run of the horse, so that is the thing to consider and understand. And it helps immensely to watch horse races. By watching the races, that's where you begin to visualize the actual run. When you see the numbers, you start to visualize the actual matching run for that number, and you can compare that in your mind, and it really starts to get fall into place. But as far as the ability pairs go, what we found is the pairs just seem to be indicative of that particular group of numbers will have a competitive edge in the race. I mean, just like this 4-horse group in the first race, they're all around 200. They're all right around the par. So, that group has a little bit edge on the rest. So that's what the pairs are about. We've got 3 of the exact same rating in the 4th race. Well, the fastest one wins. Okay, makes sense. That actually makes sense. But the 3 horses, and actually 4, tells you, hey, it's probably going to be one of these guys here, and it rings true all the way through the card. So the thing of it is, you have to look at that. That's another consistency of horse racing. So it is, what is the number for that pair, or what is the rating itself, and is it around par? Is it a competitive rating or not? And if it is, it's like, well, that group is going to influence this entire race. Now, in the 8th, we got 2 different pairs, but only one of them are really very close to par, and then it's a sprint kind of distance, and they're kind of low on the early speed. So it's like, well, you might not take those as seriously for this particular race, but it all relates to everything. What you actually have in the race, the distance of the race, and everything else. And it's just a quick analysis after you get used to it, and you can see the thing. But you don't have to get upset, because there are a lot of contenders in the race in modern racing. That's a necessity. We're supporting a betting menu of win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, pick 6, super high 5, and yada yada yada. So we gotta have a lot of contenders in the race, or it's just really going to be boring as hell. But that can work for you just as easily as working against you. So that's another thing the pairs are about. That's a way of making all those contenders work for you, is to be able to pair them up. And now we'll look at the pairs and see what do we have, what numbers are dominant here, or should be, or whatever, or are we all just pretty equal, or where is the differences? So that's the thing, and that's the thing we're trying to do, and just be able to look at the race in the perspective of ability. And I believe it makes a hell of a difference. And the biggest difference is, gives you something consistent to look at that actually consistently wins. So I believe this is a big deal. So anyway, appreciate you joining me for this, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again for the Belmont Stakes, and have another good recap there. Thank you very much.